These are 12U baseball players, and these are their parents. Today, they're gonna be facing off in 6 different baseball challenges, like base running, fielding, pitching, hitting, and more, to see who's the better athletes. Okay, so today I'm in charge of coaching the kids. So we are hoping for a kid W today. How are you feeling about your chances, man? Do you think you'll beat your parents?
Really good, yeah. They were pretty shabby over on the warm-up. I feel like the outfield drills are going to be our biggest advantage. My dad played college ball, so that's the only part I'm worried about.
Who do you think's gonna do better, your mom or your dad?
My dad.
Do you think you'll be able to beat him in any of the challenges?
Oh, dude, he's cool.
All right, so we got Coach Rat coaching the kids, and since I'm about to be a parent, I'm on Team Parent today. Let's see what the squad looks like. When's the last time you played baseball?
At least 10 years ago. 20 years ago.
Softball 15 years ago.
Game probably about 10 years.
When I was 5, T-ball.
How's the body feeling so far?
Old.
Old?
I'm sore already. It's feeling good after a couple, ibuprofen.
Any predictions on how this is gonna go?
Running, I'm not so sure about.
Yes.
Throwing, hitting, we're good.
And whoever wants to go with me.
What's going to happen during the game?
Don't get comfortable with any sort of lead early on, because you can lose at any given time in that last round. Okay. You guys ready to go pedal to the metal?
At this point, I thought that the parents were cooked. The kids were fired up. I couldn't wait to see how the first challenge went.
So let's see how they do in our first challenge. We've got base running. If the players beat the parents, they earn a point. But if the parents beat the players, they earn a point. Whoever has the most points at the end wins this round.
All right, so typically in 12U baseball, it's about 60 feet for the bases, but today's challenge, we're going 90 feet. Biggest reason is we want to give the parents as much time as possible to get to the base and or to get the gears working. So let's see what happens.
Full transparency, Cole and I thought that the parents were going to get dusted by the kids in this challenge. What happened next were the surprises. Parents jump out to an early lead in round 1.
Never in my life would I have imagined that that's how that was gonna go for first one.
The kids would answer back in the second round as they get on the board, tying it up 1-1.
Kids all day!
We quickly found out it was not going to be kids all day as Brian dusts Jaden in this race. Quickly followed by another parent W as Liz takes down Miles to make the score 3-1 in favor of the parents. And while the kids did put up some points, we were shocked that the parents might actually win this.
I'm very surprised with the parents right now.
But this is when the unexpected happened. You see, we miscalculated how many parents and kids we had, which made room for a special guest.
So there wasn't enough kids for parents, so we actually got my dad filling in today. My dad took the L. I thought he was getting that.
I thought he was getting that too. Cole's dad had some wheels, but the score was down 5-3 in favor of the parents.
Close, but we got
Everything was going smoothly until... Okay, maybe she left a little early, but can't blame her. I was excited too. After some she's a cheater chants from the kids, it was time for them to line back up. Jack takes down Denise and a much-needed kids W. But Matt answers back for the parents as we have another unbelievably close finish.
Score is 6-4. All we need is one more for the parents to walk it off.
With the kids' fate on the line in round 1, it was Ashley versus Alex. And Alex comes through. The kids are still alive. The score is now 6-5 in favor of the parents.
It comes down to this. Either you guys tie and there's no winners for round 1, or the parents walk it off and win round 1.
A tie or a parents' W. It was down to Nick and Noah. And to my surprise, it was a parents' W in the base running challenge. They celebrated for a moment before we moved to defense.
good news. Parents take that round. Bad news, I don't know if they got anything left, but we'll take that.
Round 2.
Every baseball player needs to be able to field a ground ball. So this next challenge is going to be done knockout style, where all players and parents will be on the field taking ground balls. If anyone boots a ground ball or misses it, they're eliminated. Last player or parent standing wins the round.
Round 2 is underway with ground balls, and coaches out there, close your eyes. We had a little bit of difficulty here in this round. We started off with 2 quick misses from the kids, 2 quick misses from the parents, and finally we had Cole saying,
Wait a second! Someone's got to be able to field a ground ball here!
despite Cole's encouragement, the parents still missed on their 3rd round, and people were dropping like flies. The kids eliminated their 4th player, and we still haven't had someone field the ball cleanly. But you know what they say, 4th time's the charm? Once someone finally broke the ice, then things started getting a little bit better. The kids would follow that up with a clean ground ball of their own. The parents would answer back and field one cleanly, and now the ball was rolling. No pun intended. After a nice little lefty backhand and a nice, clean, routine ground ball from the parents, we were now starting to look like baseball players. Well, I mean, with a few exceptions, of course.
Score update. We have gone gone through one time, and we have 6 kids remaining and 9 parents left. The ground balls are only going to get harder from here.
The next round was underway, and despite the tougher ground balls, the parents started making some highlight reel plays.
With the throw, too!
I don't know where that came from.
I think he was being humble. He knew exactly where that came from. Well, the kids would follow that up by booting the ball, and the parents would follow that up, booting a ball of their own. The parents would have a commanding lead, 6-3, going into the third round. And this is where things started heating up. While the kids were making some good plays, the parents held on to their steady lead until there were only 4 people remaining. But there was a glimmer of hope as the parents' smoothest infielder goes down, immediately followed by another miss from the parents. And suddenly, the kids were back in the game. Camden just had to field this one ground ball and they'd move on to a playoff. And Camden delivered.
You are the final 2 remaining. 1 parent, 1 kid. Let's do it.
The final showdown would prove to be a battle for the ages, as ground ball after ground ball was fielded cleanly, and they were perfect. Any mistake would end the round for their team. They were both unfazed by the pressure as they made play after play. The fate of round 2 was in their hands.
What is happening right now?
And this is where I don't think Camden realized how much pressure was actually on this challenge, because after round 2 is when we announced the stakes, and I don't think they realized just how big of a prize they would get if they could take down the parents. Who will it be, parents or kids?
The parents take another one. 2-0 parents.
2 challenges out of the way. The parents are leading 2-0. The kids got to pick it up. What we haven't talked about yet are the stakes. What they get if they win. Now, what they don't know is if the kids manage to pull off an upset against their parents, they will all be walking away with a brand new pair of Coach Rack Bruce Bulls. If the parents manage to beat their kids, they will each be walking away with a $100 Amazon gift card. The stakes have just been raised. Now it's time for some pitching. For the pitching challenge is going to be the first to 3 strikeouts will win. Parents and kids will alternate throws to see who can strike out 3 batters first.
The pitching challenge was underway, and this is where I was curious. Can the parents continue to dominate?
They threw a strike. I was hearing a lot of chirps from the kids. Hey, just throw strikes.
Just throw strikes is a classic coaching statement that kids hear all the time, and I don't think ever does any good. But the parents would once again jump out to an early lead.
That dude is legit.
And I was almost starting to feel bad for the kids. Were they going to win a single challenge against the parents? The kids would strike back and get their second strike on the first batter. But immediately afterwards, the parents struck out batter number 1.
Parents get their first strikeout.
Then the kids miss another, only to be followed by another strike from the parents.
What is happening right now?
What is happening indeed? The kids miss another, only to be followed up by another parent strike. The kids needed some strikes, and they needed them fast. Fortunately, they would strike out their first batter,
First official strikeout for the kids.
and that was immediately followed by another parent's miss.
The kids have figured out to start chirping the parents.
Finally, the kids started to get some kind of momentum, bringing the score to 5-4.
Now the parents decided to go guys first, girls second. Bold strategy with this.
It was a bold strategy indeed, but so far it was paying off. The parents held on to a lead, currently 5-4.
Got it. Yeah.
But just a few moments later, they would strike out their second batter.
That is strike 3 on the second batter for the parents.
It's 6-4, boys.
With the score of 6-5 now, it was crunch time for the kids. A big miss from the parents kept the kids in the game. Can they capitalize and even the score? Yes, they can.
It is 6-all and on to our final batter.
With just one batter left, the chirps kept getting louder and louder, and after another miss from the parents and another miss from the kids, the pitching competition was about as neck and neck as it gets. And this is where I think the kids really dug deep for those Bruce Bulls. And it also kind of helped that the parents had used most of their baseball players early on in the round. If the kids were going to win, they would have to capitalize soon.
Still all tied up, going to the last batter.
Finally, the kids collect their first lead of the day.
I'm rooting for these guys right now, man. I saw their faces light up when I said the Bruce Bowl thing. I want them to win so bad. Good job.
No way we got to get out here fresh, huh?
Still hanging on to a 1-point lead, kids were just 2 strikes away from beating their parents in the pitching competition, and we had to break out the instant replay for this one, but after further review, it was ruled a strike, and the kids were just 1 strike away.
I have to break out the instant replay, but I think I heard some plastic on that. He's got some momentum. That is firm. Like, genuinely, she's throwing very hard right now.
We had to give him one.
All right, the kids pull it off finally. 2-1, we got ourselves a ball game. 2 more challenges remaining.
The parents are currently leading 2-1 as we go into the home run derby. Here's how the home run derby is gonna work. Any ball that's into the outfield grass will be called a home run. Whoever finishes with the most home runs will win.
We're ready,
Home
you
run
guys are
derby
ready?
challenge, every hitter would only get 2 swings.
All
As this
right,
was
all
with
right, here we
0
go.
warm-up. Now, some would say the parents obviously have an advantage here. They're much bigger and much stronger. But it's harder than you think to hit the ball to the outfield grass. Well, this guy would absolutely piece this ball into right field, getting the parents on the board. The kids would answer back with the very next batter getting a homer of their own. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that is one of the best swings that I have seen. Smooth timing mechanism, efficient bat, firm front side, one-handed finish, oh my gosh. Okay, I got a little sidetracked there. Let's get back to the competition. The parents are beating the kids 2-1,
Still 2-1 parents right now.
but there is still a lot of ball game left. Now you might think, why would someone swing and miss during batting practice? But oh my gosh, you're about to find out that it might be more common than you think. And when I say that happens to the best of us,
It's so easy when we tell them to do it.
I really mean that happens to the best of us. You'll see what I mean in just a moment.
Still got it 2-1 now, 2-1.
Parents were holding on to a slim 2-1 lead when this ball was absolutely barreled down the line. And yes, it did stay fair. The score was now 3-1 parents, but the kids would immediately answer back with a point of their own. There were some good swings all around, especially this one here, driven to the opposite field. Beautiful. But despite the good swings, there were not a lot of home runs. Just as I anticipated, it's harder than it looks to not roll over and hit the ball to the outfield. But nonetheless, this is when the parents would bring out the big stick.
Hey, this dad's got a dynasty bat. He's got a Beezer dynasty bat.
Watch your lips. Come on, Nick. Watch your lips. The 20-year-old bats are coming out.
They're coming out indeed. That ball is barreled to deep right center field, and the parents are up 4-2. But just when you thought the parents were pulling away, the kids answered back with another homer of their own. That will bring us to a 4-3 ball game. A miss here, a miss there, and the elite coaching started to surface.
Elevate, lift and separate.
Well, unfortunately, lift and separate resulted in a rollover, and another rollover, and just for good measure, another rollover.
Relax, dude. Ollie. Come on, Ollie.
Parents are winning 4-3, and you can tie it up right here.
It was getting down to the wire as just a few people were remaining, but this ball was cranked to tie it up 4-4. After a couple of misses from both teams, the score was still 4-4, and now there was an opportunity for a walk-off.
Opportunity to walk it off here.
This is the last pitch. If she does not hit a home run here, then we're going to a tiebreaker.
She did put the ball in play, but that is not a home run.
All right, so after that all, we're actually tied. So to settle it, sudden death, farthest baseball, 3 swings.
Coach versus coach. I'll be representing the players. I'll be representing the parents. Let's do this thing.
Cole and I were not expecting to get some swings today, but Cole absolutely crushed his first ball. This was by far the furthest ball hit of the day, and I had my work cut out for it. The next ball was also a barrel, and this might be Cole's new bat.
Oh, dude, Bruce Bull, this might be my new favorite bat. Oh, gosh dang it. Hey, that's actually all shout out to Strike One. Strike One, Coach Kenny.
Now, normally I pride myself in the way I handle pressure, so for those of you watching back at home, please close your eyes.
That was a change
Well, we're not going to talk about that. I had one swing left to hit a ball 300 feet. And I couldn't get the job done for the boys. That was probably more devastating for me than it was for them. It was time to regroup.
Here we go. Score update, it is 3-1 in favor of the parents. We were not able to get it done for the boys. However, in this final round, the kids will have an opportunity to walk it off against their parents. Here's the rules. We're doing a coach pitch scrimmage, and every single batter that reaches first base will get 1 point for their team. Everyone will get 1 at-bat, and whoever has the most points at the end will win. This is the final showdown. Here we go. Kids are on defense.
Kids got this in the bag. Here we go.
Now remember, while the parents are leading 3-1, this is ultimately a test of can parents beat their kids at baseball. So in this final live at-bat challenge, every single base runner counts as a point. If the kids play cleaner baseball, they have a shot at winning this thing. This base hit into left field would extend the parents' lead to 4-1.
Let defense get that ball in. We had a close play at second base. It was respectable. Score update, 4-1.
This ball was hit down the first base line, but would be ruled foul, and that was immediately followed up with a strikeout.
D-Rack 3.
But the parents were not taking it easy. This ball was smoked, bringing the score to 5-1 in favor of the parents. Now, this game is still not out of reach.
All right, that's 5-1.
You can't help but think with every base runner that reaches base, the kid's comeback gets less and less likely. After a borderline strike 3 call and a bunt attempt, the score remained 5-1. Now, don't tell anyone this, but I might not have been the only one rooting for the kids, as the coach's curveball got nastier and nastier as we went. Between the nasty breaking ball and some lockdown defense, the kids were holding the parents.
That was your mom? That was a good swing.
The lockdown defense continued for the kiddos, and it was cool seeing the parents. They were fired up. Their kids were playing well. Now, after a long drought, the parents finally got back on the board with this base hit up the middle, bringing the score to 6-1.
All right, another point for the parents.
And with that strikeout, there was only one final hitter for the parents.
He's calling his shot. Kids are chirping. I love it.
The kids were chirping, and the coach was bringing his best stuff.
That's a tough pitch. Even the parents are chirping this guy. It was a good battle there, though. That was a tough pitch to foul off.
Doors once again, and that will conclude light of at-bats for the parents.
Score update, the parents have the lead 6-1. But every single time that one of these kids reaches base, that is 1 point, so they still have a chance to tie it up or maybe even walk it off. They got a lot of work to do.
Now, all in all, this was a pretty good matchup. I was shocked at just how evenly these guys were matched. Obviously, the parents were a lot bigger.
Shortstop's locked down, man.
But these kiddos were very fundamentally sound. In every single one of these competitions, it would end up coming down to the wire, and the live at-bats were no exception.
Stretch at first base, too. Man, this defense is looking solid.
While the defense was good, it could not contain this barrel, as that will get the kids on the board in this final round.
6-2.
That barrel was followed up with another barrel, but watch this play.
What a play and what a stretch.
That was impressive. I can't do that at first base. Also, this shortstop is one of the smoothest shortstops I've ever seen. However, once again, another throw is bailed out by the first baseman. But this is where I started to worry, because the kids were making great contact, but for some reason, they could not find a way on base. They finally broke through with a base hit, making the score 6-3, but only a few batters remained. And after another ground out to first base, it got me thinking these kids might not get the Bruce Bolts after all. The next batter would strike out, and there were only 4 batters remaining.
Strike 3.
Desperately needing to reach base, the kids go with a bunt. And don't tell the Savannah Bananas, they reach base safely. The kids needed a miracle.
6-4. Don't call it a comeback. Kids are fired up right now.
Everyone was on the edge of their seat as the kids' Bruce Bolts were on the line, and that is a base hit up the middle, bringing the score to 6-5. And with just 2 batters remaining, look at this play. This is no mercy from the parents.
Oh, what a catch. No way. All right, last chance to tie it up. Here we go.
What a catch, and we are now down to the final hitter.
Wire, man. I'm nervous.
The entire competition came down to this moment.
Wow. After all that, the kids tied it up. We are dead even. So there is only one way to settle this. The classic head-to-head relay race. 12 parents will show down against 12 kids in a final relay race to determine the ultimate winner. And I gotta say, the kids are fired up. I think they really want those Bruce Bolts. What was something I said earlier at the beginning of the day where you guys are gonna have the advantage? What was that?
They're gonna be gassed.
They're gonna be gassed. And guess what we're doing to finish off?
Running.
A relay race, right? Okay, so I need you guys to give it everything you've got running around these bases.
How we all feeling? All comes down to this, parents. Oh, the closure here. The
final showdown in 3, 2, 1, go!
They were off to the races, and the kids were giving it everything they had. This one started off as a close matchup. And keep in mind that earlier in the day, the parents did beat the kids in a race. But at this point in the day, we had already been there for 3 hours, and the fatigue was starting to show.
The kiddos still have a commanding lead, but the parents are kind of closing the gap.
This was shaping up to be quite the finish. But with 9 laps remaining, the kids still held on to the lead. Big time respect to the parents, because they were not letting up. They were still running as hard as they could. But as we got to lap 7, the kids' lead was commanding. In fact, we almost had a lapping. But once again, the parents bounced back. This lap around the bases made up some serious ground for the parents.
Oh, wow. You made up some serious ground. Wow.
But the kids had saved some of their faster runners for the end. At this point in time, the Bruce Bolts were in sight. The kids finally lapped the parents with just 5 more trips around the bases to go. As long as there were no drastic mistakes, the kids were in place to put this thing away.
Uh-oh. Catch him, catch him, catch him, catch him! Last runner, final runner! All right, we got our final runner, This is.
1 week later.
Okay, I didn't have the Bruce Bolts yet, but I got on the phone with Bruce Bolt and we got a pair for every single player. Huge shout out to Strike One Baseball Academy. And of course, the parents that made this thing possible. Subscribe to Cole and I, and as always...